You are lying awake at 2 a.m., staring at the ceiling, vividly replaying a slightly awkward conversation from 7 years ago. By the time your head hits the pillow, you've processed up to 35,000 individual choices. What to wear, which emails to answer, what route to drive. This daily flood of choices depletes your mental energy, leaving you in a state of decision fatigue right when you are trying to rest. When your mind begins to spiral like this in the quiet of the night, it feels like a personal failure. We treat this endless looping as a character flaw or a sign that our brains are broken. But a frustrated, spinning mind is actually doing exactly what it was built to do. It is executing a biological directive that kept our species alive. Evolutionary psychiatrist Randolph Nesse calls this mechanism the smoke detector principle. Looking at this matrix, running from the wind is a false alarm, costing few calories, but ignoring a predator means death. The resulting genetic lineage tree shows our biology. Hypervigilant ancestors survived to reproduce, while relaxed humans did not pass on their genes. You are the direct descendant of the most anxious humans to ever live. Your tendency to overthink is a highly successful survival feature. The modern problem starts when we stop actively doing things. When you finish your workday, put down your phone, and finally let your mind idle, the brain shifts gears. This diagram illustrates the default mode network. It powers up specifically when we are not focused on the outside world, but it gets hijacked by the negativity bias. Your brain prioritizes threatening information, actively scanning memories and your future for potential dangers. Our environment changed faster than our biology. When you receive a tense email from your boss, your amygdala, the brain's emotional alarm center, floods your body with the exact same stress chemicals it would use to help you escape a physical predator. Notice how we never get stuck in positive mental loops. We don't lay awake for hours obsessing over how perfectly we executed a presentation. Admiring a beautiful sunset or feeling content offered no survival advantage to our ancestors, so those gentle neural pathways fade quickly. When your modern brain is left without a demanding task, its default state is to hunt for danger. It inevitably turns quiet moments into anxiety. Clinicians have mapped out this generalized feeling of spiraling and categorized it into 3 distinct mechanical subroutines. First is rumination. The mind loops continuously backward. Second is overthinking. The focus snaps forward, fracturing into branching paths to run worst-case scenarios. Third is intrusive thoughts. Sudden vertical warning spikes disrupt the timeline, generating random, disturbing scenarios out of nowhere. Identifying the specific temporal direction of your thought loop, whether stuck in the past, scanning the future, or throwing random threat tests, is the mandatory first step to disarming it. When these mental traps spring, our standard human reaction is to fight back. We try to aggressively suppress the thoughts, overanalyze their meaning, or seek endless reassurance from others. This creates what psychologists call the rebound effect. As we see in this feedback loop, applying downward pressure to suppress a distressing thought forces a volatile upward spike. Fighting the thought directly increases both its frequency and its emotional intensity. By treating the thought as a dangerous threat that must be defeated, you signal your amygdala that the danger is real. This keeps the internal smoke detector blaring indefinitely. Trying to logic your way out of overthinking is the exact mechanism that fuels the evolutionary panic engine. You cannot argue your way to a quiet mind. To disarm the alarm, clinicians use a framework called acceptance and commitment therapy, or ACT. It teaches us how to change our relationship with our own biology. The first step is neutral observation. You identify the thought and label it without judgment. Recognizing that your brain is just running its overthinking routine strips the thought of its life or death threat status. Next, you engage your physical senses, like gripping a textured object or feeling your feet on the floor. This specific grounding action forces your brain to switch out of the wandering default mode network and activates the task positive network, an entirely different system used for active concentration. Finally, you take action based on what you actually value, carrying the uncomfortable thoughts with you. Instead of waiting for the anxiety to clear, you learn to tolerate the uncertainty and move forward anyway. You are navigating a complex modern world with an ancient, survival-obsessed brain. By simply accepting the noise it makes, you strip that noise of its power.